Hey, what's up everybody? It's TheHyphenate here, and today I'm going to show you guys the best custom layout for the Sony A7 IV when it comes to video mode. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do is put your camera into video mode and then click on the menu button. Then we're going to go to the bottom tab, which is the settings tab, then go to page 3, Operation Customize. Then here you'll see custom key dial set. You'll see one that has a photo camera icon, and you'll also see one that has a video camera icon. Now you can set the custom buttons separately for video and photo mode. If you want my personal recommendations for what I think is the best custom layout for photo mode, then I do have another video on this channel you can watch, and I have a link for that in the description. But right now we're going to focus on video mode, so let's go ahead and click on that one. Now I'm going to take you guys page by page, button by button, starting with rear 1. Number 1 is the Ael button on the back of the camera. I have that set to focus magnifier. Now, I really only use this when I'm in manual focus mode, but let me show you what it does. Now, if you click on that button once, it'll make your video full screen, and you'll actually get rid of all the display bars around the sides and the top and bottom. Now, you can use a joystick to move around the frame, and the next time you press the button, it's actually going to zoom into that area. So there you go. Now we're zoomed in, and you can see on the bottom left, it shows you where exactly this zoomed in frame is. Now, as you're watching this is not cropping the image whatsoever. So if you're recording or if you framed up exactly what you want, this is not going to change your framing. This is just to punch in and zoom in so you can see if you're really in focus or not. Press the button again and you go back out. Now, number 2, which is the AF on button, I have that set to switch right, left eye. Now, I use this a lot in portrait photography, but it also comes in handy in video. Now, generally when you're doing close-up shots, you want the eye closest to the camera to be what's in focus. Now, the A7 IV does a great job of detecting the closest eye, though sometimes it does go to the further eye, and this will allow you to make sure you choose the eye that you want so that you get the shot exactly how you want it. Number 3, I left as is. C1 is set for white balance. Number 4, which is C3, I have set for focus mode so I can easily switch between manual and autofocus. Number 5, which is C4, or the trash can button on the back of the camera, I have set for monitor brightness. That way, if I'm out on a sunny day and I need the screen to be brighter, I can just click on that and go to sunny weather, and that'll make it brighter. Though I definitely don't recommend shooting with that if you don't need to. All right, now let's go to the next page, rear 2. Number 1, which is the joystick being pressed in. I have that set to grid line display select. Now, normally I like to have the grid on with the rule of thirds. So I have a little guideline making sure that my horizons are straight or that I'm framing things exactly where I want them to be. And though I shoot with it 99% of the time, sometimes I want it off. And by just clicking that little button in, it makes the grid line go away. Click it again and it comes back on. Number 2, which is the center button in the middle of the wheel, I have set to auto white balance lock toggle. Now this comes in handy if you are shooting in auto white balance and you're pretty happy with the white balance that the camera automatically chooses. If you click that button, you'll see on the bottom right corner, it says AWBL, that's for the lock. Even if you were to change in a different environment where the camera would normally change the white balance, with this, you'll be able to keep it locked. It pretty much comes in handy if you do not have time to manually set your white balance and you want to make sure that it stays the same and it doesn't change whatsoever. Now keep in mind, this only stays on while the camera is on. Once it goes to sleep, or if you turn it off, turn it back on, that white balance lock is not going to remember what it locked onto. So you will have to do it again. This is really if you just start recording something and you want to make sure that the duration of that clip stays with the same white balance. Number 3, left, which on photo mode is drive mode. That doesn't come into play with video, so I switched that to record frame rate. Sometimes I want to easily go from 24p to 60p or 120p. Number 4, I left as is for ISO. And number 5, I have set to finder monitor select. Now this thing is awesome because it allows you to switch manually between the LCD or the viewfinder. Now I pretty much never shoot with the viewfinder when I'm doing video, but Sony does have this sensor next to the viewfinder, and if you get too close to it, it turns off the LCD screen and automatically switches to the viewfinder thinking you're trying to look through the viewfinder. It's annoying and I hate it. So I've actually gone into the settings tab, gone under Finder Monitor, and gone to select Finder Monitor and chosen Monitor Manual. Now, by doing this, it disables your viewfinder sensor, thus also disabling the viewfinder. The viewfinder will not go on if you have monitor manual selected. The only thing that you're going to see is the LCD screen, which is here called monitor. So then with this button, the down button on that control wheel, you can actually manually choose if you want the viewfinder or the LCD screen without having to go into any settings. And I actually have this set up in photo mode as well. All right, now the next page, top movie shooting, I left the record button as well as number 2, which is C2, I left that for focus area. Now for the custom lens button, I have that set to zebra display select, which means on or off. Now I don't really use zebra displays often, but I didn't really have anything else that I wanted to program on my lens button. Now the last page here, we have the dial wheels that you can change. I left number 1 as aperture, number 2 as shutter speed, but number 3, I actually set to the audio record level. And the reason I chose this button for the audio levels is because it has a lock on it, so I won't accidentally change my audio levels. And then number 4, that wheel will allow me to change the color temperature, the Kelvin of my white balance. So when you go into white balance by clicking C1 and then going down to a custom white balance, here, no matter what you choose, let's just keep it at 5600, using the wheel, if you look at the right, you can see the Kelvins actually changing. It's great to be able to dial that in really quickly to whatever Kelvin you want. So that's it for the custom key dial set. Now let's go to the FN menu settings. Now these are the quick functions you can adjust when you click on the FN button on the back of the camera. Here you can see that you can set 12 buttons for photo mode and 12 buttons for video mode. So we're gonna go down to video mode. The first thing I have is for file format, allowing me to quickly choose between 4K, HD, and the different codecs. Next I have touch operation. Now normally I have it on, but sometimes I wanna disable it fully, depending on how I'm using the camera. Next is right left eye select. Now earlier I mentioned that the AF on button I actually have set to switch between right and left eye. But with this button here, you're actually able to permanently select which eye you want. And then that's where, once you have one of the eyes selected, doesn't matter which one, the AF on button that we reprogrammed to switch between the eyes comes into play. So if I select the right eye and I click the AF on button, you'll see now it went to the left eye or it went to the right eye. So the AF on button only goes between each eye. But the button here on the FN menu allows you to actually choose auto, right, or left. I'm going to keep it on auto for now. Next, I have record setting, which allows you to choose the bits per second for lower or higher quality. This allows you to put it either on or off. Then next I have APS-C Super 35 shooting. This is actually an incredibly handy tool. This allows you to crop into your image in video without actually really sacrificing any of your quality. Because this is a 33 megapixel camera, you can use this mode in video and still maintain either a 4K or HD resolution. This gives you a 1.5 times crop. So if you have a 24 millimeter lens, this will actually change it to a 36 millimeter lens. So it just gives you a little extra reach and still looks great because all it's doing is cropping into the sensor, not actually cropping your image. Then on the bottom left corner, I have autofocus transition speed. And next to that, autofocus subject shift sensitivity. Now, I balance between those two whenever I'm trying to get a smoother focus pull in autofocus, or if I want something to kind of be a little bit more snappy and quick. Generally, most of what I shoot, I have the autofocus transition speed to either 3 or 4, and my autofocus subject shift sensitivity to 3. Next to that, I have face eye subject, so I can change between human, bird, or animal. Next, I have variable shutter. Now this comes in handy when you are in terrible lighting conditions where the lights are creating some type of banding because they're not really high quality and the frequencies are off. Then next to the zebra on off button, which is on top, underneath I have the zebra level, so you can choose a different threshold for when zebras are on. And then to the bottom right, I have steady shot, which I will take off when I'm shooting with a motion control system. But other than that, I keep steady shot on. So there you guys have it. That's what I think is the best custom layout for the Sony A7 IV in video mode. Now, if you want more Sony Alpha videos, I do have a playlist on this channel all about Sony Alpha products. Please make sure to drop a like on this video, drop a comment below if you have any questions, and please make sure to subscribe. I have a lot more videos coming soon. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.